Hi and welcome to my playhouse, and today we have a sponsored video because REDODO has sent me some batteries to review. I am a sucker for these lithium iron phosphate batteries. I just can't say no. It's really amazing how I never started smoking because I don't have the backbone to say no when someone offers me a free lithium iron phosphate battery. We're gonna have a look at two batteries because I talked REDODO into sending me a tiny battery as well. So a large battery, we'll get into the specs, and a smaller battery, and this one brags about what it is. We might have a box in a box here, so it might brag when we get into it, but when there's a logo and stuff on the outside, it's more doubtful that there's also another box inside. And they do actually have some information on the back here. So it's a 12 volt 100 amp hour battery, and it has Bluetooth. So let's see if it's a box in a box. Nope, it's the battery directly in the box. So here we have it. Here is the reading stuff, and here in Denmark where I'm located, we get it. There is usually an English manual, which is the one in front here, English, and then there is a German manual. The warehouse for these batteries and most of Europe, probably all of Europe, is located in Germany, probably the largest market for REDODO. So there's a German manual and an English manual, and there are some do's and don'ts on here. And then there are some hardware, some screws and some colorful caps to put on top of the battery. Post bolts here. Here is the battery. There it is. REDODO contacted me and asked me if I was interested, and I do actually have a couple of projects that will do very nicely with a large lithium iron phosphate battery. So I got these batteries for some specific projects that we're gonna be messing with. So yeah, lithium iron phosphate battery. It's not that heavy compared to what a similar lead acid battery of this capacity would be. This can be a replacement for lead acid batteries in many scenarios, just not for starting a car, because for starting a car you need like a lot of amps to when the car needs to start. It will run the car for sure, it just won't start it. So this is actually not my first REDODO battery. I reviewed one last year, which I did a collaboration with my friend Cindy, who obtained the battery because she lives off-grid and she got that battery for her off-grid living. So I know there is a lot of helpful information, first of all in the manual here, but also there's like a thing here with a lot of fast information that you can go through, and yeah, there's a lot of do's and don'ts, like don't open the battery, don't put it in water, and temperatures of when it should be working. And they also suggest that you wear rubber gloves when handling the batteries. This is only 12 volt. I can see the issue if you start to put them in parallel or serial. So fair enough. Do's and don'ts. And then it comes with stickers. I do believe this battery is plenty colorful enough, so I don't think I need to add any stickers to it. But well, if you really like, you can advertise that you're using REDODO batteries somewhere else. But the manual is very helpful. You get a lot of good information, battery parameters, and it says the chemistry, and it says the nominal voltage, rated capacity 100 amp hours. That comes to 1280 watt hours. That might not tell you anything, but if you compare it to like a normal laptop computer, the laptop computer will probably be the last 80 watt hours. So this battery has like 1200 watt hours more than a normal laptop battery you would have. So it also says down here that surge discharge current 500 amps for something like a second. So I might be wrong. You might actually be able to start a vehicle with this if you drive like a normal tiny car like mine. It might just work, but it's not what this battery is meant for. Those 500 amps for a second might just do the trick if it's not too cold and stuff like that. But there is also like recommended to charge it with 20 amps. But it can be charged with 100 amps, but they do recommend a bit lower than 100 amps. That is usually the case. Don't go to the limit all the time. Housing materials, flame retardant plastic. There is a lot of good info in the manual. Also, you can measure the voltage of the battery and you can kind of get an idea of what state of charge the battery is at. This battery does have a Bluetooth thingy inside. I have downloaded the Bluetooth thingy and I have registered with made an account. I am not able to connect to the battery yet. I think it's in some sort of a deep sleep or something. I think I might have to start charging and using it for the Bluetooth device in here to wake up. Wake up! We could put the hardware on. We're gonna need that anyway. So these has some protective plastic on top of it so that you can't put anything on it before I do anything stupid like that. So this is an 8mm hardware that goes into here like that, and we're gonna go and connect something to that in just a little bit. But before that, we need to connect the positive one as well. Oh, we have a bit of hardware for that as well, so I'm gonna put that 8mm screw in. I'm saying that 8mm because that is important. If you need to connect something to this, you need to know that this is an 8mm because whatever you need to connect to the battery needs to be 8mm as well, or at least not smaller than that. But it's also not good to be too big. You don't want it to be rattling around. If you put something that is too big on here, like 12 or 14mm, you might only be able to connect to one hole or something. So let's see, we have these plastic things as well with some color on them. So that goes on there. And the negative one, the black one, goes on there. There we are. I think we are good to go and I'll reveal what this battery is meant to power. Oh, sorry. Naturally, we're gonna test how much voltage it came with. So it claims to be a 3.2 volts. That is most definitely why the Bluetooth thing is not up and running. That is very low for a battery like this. Okay, well, 3.2 volts is way too low. Something is off. But let's see if we can connect it and it will revive itself. Otherwise, this might be a short video. Here is the project that I want to improve upon. This is my robot lawnmower, which some bird has shit on. It's not very photographic. So yeah, it has a battery because it's solar powered. Well, it has a battery inside of the robot here, which is very clearly charging right now. It might be hard to see, but it is actually charging. So the system is working. It has a tiny little solar panel up here, right there. That's a 50-watt solar panel, or it used to be a 50-watt solar panel. It's a very old solar panel, so might not be 50 watts anymore. But yeah, in here in my garage, the setup is, it's a must, but the garage is naturally full of crap. I think everybody's garage is full of crap. So over here I have the at the moment setup, and I can see that the battery is at 11.6 volts. So it's not doing too great, and that is equally the battery's fault and the solar panel's fault, and I don't think the solar panel is great anymore, but I also know that the battery isn't great anymore. So I think we'll turn off the robot lawnmower. It will stop itself when it gets to 11 volts, I think, but we can just turn it off here. That turns off the output, and the voltage went up a little bit because there's now no load on it. The setup I have here is I have the solar panels going into the charge controller, which is connected to the battery, and then the output goes to a DC to DC step-up converter that converts the 12 volt from the battery up to, I think it's 24-ish volts, that goes out and charges the lawnmower. That's this cable going out. So we'll try, and I'll just show you how bad this battery is. I do actually also have a battery desulfator, my own design, or my own creation here. So I'm kind of replacing this battery and not using my own battery desulfator. I'm kind of killing my own business here. I don't know, shooting myself in the foot. But I have a battery tester here. This is for testing a car battery, and it gives you a number of cold cranking amps. And that is the number, it says it here on the battery over here. It says that this battery is able to do 740 cold cranking amps. It's a 80 amp hour 12 volt battery. So even though this battery is 80 amp hours, when you're gonna start a vehicle, it can deliver 740 cold cranking amps, which means under some given situation, it can do that. So this is gonna be difficult to see, but let's try. Oh, it lights up. That makes it easier. There. So I need to select the battery chemistry, and the first one is OK. And then I need to go to EN. That was actually on the label of the battery as well. And then enter. And I get, okay, it's doing quite well. 455 cold cranking amps. So I will, my desulfator has been working, because when I connected this battery, it was at 140 something. So it has gained a lot of cold cranking amps while it has been connected to the desulfator, but it's far from as good as a lithium iron phosphate battery. So we're gonna disconnect this. I should really disconnect the power from the solar panels before I disconnect the battery, but I think the sun is not that strong today. I think we can do this. Actually not gonna diss this setup too much, because the biggest issue is that my solar panel is like 30 years old. The solar panel is from before it was really a thing. The charge controller does not like that I've disconnected the battery. It's not happy about it. So yeah, this battery is considerably heavier than what we're putting in. Oh, god damn it! So the REDODO battery. Okay, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with when the battery is connected. Those 3.2 volts is very low. Oh, hope nothing bad. No, it jumped up to 13 volts right away. That was more than expected. And I most definitely, unfortunately, do not need the desulfator on this battery. It's a totally different chemistry, and yeah, you don't do that with those. So the charge control, it's I should mount it somewhere. That would have been nice, but I have been messing quite a lot with this. I had a second battery on top of the other one before I changed it out to try and put 2 batteries in. That didn't help at all. There is kind of lead acid batteries. There are kind of losses in lead acid batteries. So putting 2 large batteries on a tiny charge controller, well, that didn't help at all. So let's see what's coming in. 20 degrees, 1.1 amp coming in, 5.4 amps going out. Okay, so that's quite a lot. I better measure the voltage going out of this and check if everything is okay. Okay, 22.3 volts. That's a bit low. I thought it should be about 24 volts. But the robot is charging happily, and the sun came out for a little bit and then it disappeared again. So, and when the robot is done charging, it's not going to use very much power, and the large battery is going to charge up again. Oh dear, today is Sunday, so I'm battling the church bells here. Yeah, and that church is from the 12th century, so yeah. I now connected the app. I don't know if this shows up at all. I can't see the screen out here, but there's a lot of useful information. We see the state of charge of the battery. We see how much power going out. At the moment, it's like 38 watts, 42 watts going out. Current going out like 2.5 amps. Some is coming in, some is going out. Voltage is at 13 volts, and capacity left is 57 amp hours. Okay, this is a lot better. I installed the app, I created an account, and then I paired the battery. There's a QR code on top of it, right over there. There's a QR code for installing the app and for pairing with the battery over there. So yeah, we get this information on it, but it says that at this discharge rate we can last for between 21 and 23 hours. As the battery is charged, the lawnmower out there is charged fully up, that is going to go up considerably. We saw something like 5-point-something amps going towards the robot, and now we're down to 2.7 amps. And when the robot is running and not charging, it uses only like 0.2 of an amp. So at that moment, the big battery will be charging up again. For my little project here, this battery is really overkill. But for the rainy days where there's days on end without any sun, this will do really well. I believe that I would be able to handle it with this way smaller and way less expensive battery. This battery was something like 40 euros, and it will do the same job, except it might not handle as many days without sun. So let's have a look at this smaller REDODO battery. I have had this one out. I was curious, but it comes with a product manual. This one is the English one, and it has all the same specs, or ish, as the other one. You also get the measurements, that you can measure the voltage of the battery, and you get an idea of what capacity wise it's at. This one is 6 amp hours, whereas the big battery we just looked at was 100 amp hours, and that means that this one has like 76.8 watt hours. So the battery in my robot lawnmower is like, that's 18 volts, 3 amps. So this battery is actually more powerful than the one in the robot lawnmower, and that's why I say that this might just have been big enough to do the job, because having this charged up all the way, it would be able to charge up the robot all the way, and when the robot was charged up all the way, it's not going to draw very much power. Plus, while the robot is charging, power is still coming in. So this might do a very good job, just not with as much to spare. So we're gonna use this for another task. Probably not gonna do it in this video, but I want to show you why I thought this was a good idea to get this. So this is my tiny plunge pool. It's like 3,000 liters of water, and it has a solar panel here, and it has a solar collector here, because the weather here in Denmark is awful at sometimes, and well, I can't rely on the pool just being lovely and warm all the time. So I've been trying to make this solar powered heating system for it, and it kind of is okay. I started out with a solar panel that was way too small, so now I got this one. This is bigger. It does have a great issue though. You can't really cover up any part of it without it just totally killing the power coming out of it. So I want to put this small little REDODO battery into the system. Oh, you saw the sun go out, and there's a motor here. I think I'll take the cover off and we can have a look at it. Okay, at the second, the sun is shining very nicely, so we're getting some water through. We can see it's bubbling down here, and water is coming out. It's not a great deal, but the idea of the system is not to send out boiling warm water. It's just to take water from the pool, send it through this hose, and send it back into the pool like a few degrees warmer. If it was like 50 degrees warmer, I would get a lot more losses in this. This is the tiny little pump. At the moment the sun is shining very bright, so it's working hard and making bubbles. It shouldn't do, but there is air in the system, and that's why there is not as much water coming out and stuff like that. But I have this larger solar panel running at the moment, and that shouldn't really be necessary, because when the sun is out, this tiny panel will do the job. It just doesn't do it as well as this one. Now you can hear that the sun disappeared a little bit again, and the pump stopped running. So it's actually still running. It's just not running very much. Oh, now the sun came out again, and yeah, we're getting good water flow when the sun is out. And the system is kind of self-controlling, because when the sun is not out, there's really no reason to pump water through this. In that case, you might just cool down the water up here. But when the sun is out, well, the water will be heated up in the coil here. So my stupid idea is to use the smaller solar panel to charge up the battery, and then have a smaller solar panel. I'm thinking sitting in the middle here, that will only act to hit a relay. So whenever there is sun enough for that tiny solar power to activate a relay, it will turn on the pump. So a bit more like on-off. I don't know if that is smart, but I thought that might be a good idea. So when there is no sun, or very little sun, it won't run. But there's no reason for this tiny little solar panel not to charge up the battery all the time. And if we go around the back, my idea is to mount the battery on the back of the system here, together with a little solar charge controller or something, and that solar panel that controls the relay and turns everything on and off. That's the idea of getting this. So we didn't check what voltage this came with. The other one, well, seemed to not have a voltage, but then when it was activated it had a voltage, so that needed to be woken up. This one probably does not. So it comes with 13.16 volt. So let's try and charge that up. I have this tiny little solar panel, which I was talking about for my little project. And this tiny little solar panel has a tiny little control box here on the back, which is kind of cool in some regards. It has a USB-C connector and two normal USBs. It has a red LED, shows when power is coming out. But it also came with leads for charging a battery, so, and a plug to go in to the solar panel here. So we can do that. We can connect that to the solar panel. We can put it up against these rocks. That's a perfect place for it. And then connect this to plus and minus. We can measure the voltage coming out of the solar panels. That might be interesting. we have 19 volts coming out, so it really needs a charge controller, but I'm sure that we can connect it here. And we can measure what voltage the battery is now at. The battery should cut off at some point when it reaches a charge. It's at 13.37 at the moment. So while we have been looking at the small battery, the larger battery here has completed charging up the robot lawnmower. And at the moment I see that I have 24 watts going into the battery, and then it was 20, and then it was 20 again, and then it's 70. Okay, when the sun disappears it's ever so slightly less. So now it's telling me that this battery will fully be charged up in 20 hours or something like that. We're not going to have the sunlight for that long, but I'm going to send the robot out to work because there is no reason for it to just be sitting here when the grass is growing. So, we need to remove you, otherwise you'll be driven over. So, solar powered lawn mowing. So now I can sit here and check at my phone how much the battery is at, which relieves me from having to go and measure it. Well, I can just press the charge controller in there, but yeah, this is very convenient. Okay, it has started drizzling. It's not exactly raining, it's just raining a little bit. So let's see if the robot attacks the solar. It didn't. So I need to think out how this battery is gonna be powering this pump, and this solar panel can go and power the robot lawnmower instead. It's newer, it's probably better. And if I can put it on the roof of the garage, it will have sun all the time. So even in the rain or drizzling outside, we do have power coming in. Actually, just saw the sun come up a little bit, 21 degrees. And we have 2.9 amps coming in. Come on. And we are using 0.3 amps, 0.2. I said 0.2, but in that neighborhood, 0.2, 0.3, and having 2.5 amps coming in. Awesome! So it's raining and the sun is shining. Weird weather. I would like to thank REDODO for shipping me these two batteries for my two projects. The robot lawnmower is working great, and the other project with the solar powered pool heater, we'll be working with that or on that in another video where we'll try to improve on that again and again. So thank you very much to REDODO for shipping me new batteries. Remember to check them out in the link in the description where you can find all of their products. They're a really awesome company to work with for me, and they're really well priced as well. So if you're in the market for a lithium iron phosphate battery, well, you should definitely check out their prices as well. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye. Where did the little devil go? Oh, he's over there. Okay, cut some grass.